Hello and good morning from the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. Once again, it's Bank Alfala presents Blue World City Test Series, Pakistan versus Bangladesh, second test. And hello, it is day 5. Well, welcome to the pitchside studio, and we are going to talk about what is in store for us on this final day of this second test match. Let's have a look at the most important thing, the most talked about thing, and that is the scenario. Bangladesh need 143 runs to win, and they have the full day. Do they have the full day? That will be a big question mark. But there are 3 scenarios that we are looking at. One, of course, Bangladesh gets those 143 for whatever, or Pakistan gets the 10 wickets, or more chances for Bangladesh to win this, they'll have to fight the weather. So how quickly do they want to get there to that 143 mark? I've got Amir Sohail and Athar Ali Khan alongside me. Look at the weather in the background. As long as the clouds stay away, it's fine. This is looking pretty clear at the moment. But the weather, mind you, can change in just about 20 minutes. Good morning to you, gentlemen. I'll start with you, Amir.
Good morning.
You know, if you look at the realities, you say, yeah, Bangladesh has a very bright chance of finishing this off. But cricket, as we always say, is funny. So, fresh day, fresh start. I'll bring you the Pakistan perspective. 10 wickets. Possible?
You never know. You know, if you go back in the first innings of Bangladesh, where they were struggling, they were 6 down for 26. And if the Pakistani bowlers are able to pick up early wickets, and then there is going to be some sort of a help for the leg spinner on day 5. And if leg spinner, like redeem himself, if you compare his first innings, he was wicketless. And if he's able to pick few wickets along with the faster bowlers, who knows? Early wickets is the name of the game.
Yeah. We saw a deliberate effort from the Bangladesh openers to go by the chase in a very brisk fashion. Is it because the weather is looming even today and they really want to win this? That's why they're going at 6 and over.
Well, I don't think so. That was the case because they only batted for 6 overs. Yes, 42 in first 6 overs, especially Zakir Hasan. I think he just played to the merit of the delivery and tried to stay positive because you want always to start positive. It's not a big total to chase. Yes, they'll be looking at what the weather condition is later in the day, but I think they need to take that out of their mind because what is in front of them, the way the bowlers are bowling, important to go and start positively because there's a golden opportunity for Bangladesh to go and make a clean sweep here. Already one up in the series. 143 runs on the board. I think still first hour will be crucial because first hour, I especially feel the seamer will have a bigger say than the spinners because of the weather condition and what we have seen so far from this surface.
To answer your question, the reason why you see a lot of aggression only from one batsman, Zakir, he has struggled in this series.
Okay.
He hasn't been amongst runs. He's been nicking the ball into in the slips area, and then in the last innings he got caught, I think, square leg. So he came out with the mindset, okay, I've failed in this series. I'm going to attack the bowlers to get some runs under my belt. And he was able to do that. And he kept on getting those deliveries to whip the ball on the onside, and he got plenty of runs there.
Well, speaking of batters and how they've put in their skills in this match, let's have a masterclass. It's Nick Compton and Uruj Mumtaz.
It's been a hard test for the Pakistani batters, but in particular for Babar Azam, who's been short of runs. Saud Shakil as well. A lot was expected of him from a good start to his test career, but in this test match in particular, he also hasn't managed to convert. We're having a look at his dismissals for both of them, slightly tentative on the crease. Both of them just hanging their bat out there with the nicks behind into the keeper or the slip cord. And we'll obviously run through why that happens, what could be the reason. I've got Nick Compton alongside. Nick, we've seen those dismissals, 2 big run getters for Pakistan, and a lot was expected of them. Having a look at those dismissals, what can you dissect from it? What do you think must be going through their heads?
Well, there's a couple of factors, and I suppose you start with the mind. The body follows the mind in many ways when it comes to batting, and you've got 2 players who haven't spent a lot of time at the crease. So they're walking to the crease, and let's get straight into it. They're walking to the crease, and they haven't spent a lot of time here, so they're wondering where their feet are going, how they're going to move. And I think one of the biggest things about batting, particularly early on, and the great players always talk about it, is you've got to earn the right to score runs. It doesn't matter how good you are, how good you've been in the past. And the only way to do that is to spend time in the middle. And then if we work backwards from there, you've got to know your technique. You've got to know where your off stump is. You've got to know which balls to play and which ones to leave. And we saw with, I think, Babar Azam hanging the bat outside off stump, a shot that he would normally leave that on the front foot or even off the back foot and watch it a lot closer. He was away from his body. And the same with Saud Shakil. I'll try and get into a left-hander's grip here. There was no foot movement. His eyes weren't behind the line of the ball and the bat was hanging out there. Look, it was a good bit of bowling. Nahid Rana is a quick bowler. He gets a little bit of bounce. But that's even more reason where players of their caliber and class have to be right on it early. If it takes 5 or 10 balls longer to get yourself in, take that time, because they're such quality players, and we know if they get in, and we also know here the ball does a bit early on. If you can get through that initial bit, then players like them will find their feet, they'll find their confidence, and I'm sure score a lot of runs.
Now, we just don't have players like them watching, or players from all ranks. There could be young girls and boys also watching. Come back to you again. What do you do in terms of technique or drills that you can do to have that compact technique, know where your off stump is? If there's a young boy or girl, aspiring cricketer watching, what would you tell them?
Well, I think it's, in many ways, cricket's quite a simple game. You've got 3 stumps and the bowlers are trying to hit it. So for me, it would be the most important thing is balance. So for young girls and boys, when you're standing in your stance, make sure your weight is even on both feet and your head is up straight. That's most important. You don't want your head to be here, because what we've seen, I think, with some of the players is that then pulls them into playing deliveries which are not threatening the stumps. So very important to stand in front of your stumps, get your head nice and straight and play as straight as you can. What I used to do is I used to have my right eye on the stumps, and when the bowler ran in, anything that was outside my right eye, I knew I could leave it. Anything that was straight in line with me, I had to play. And then I built from there slowly and built my confidence. So for young players, get nice and balanced, nice and straight, play nice and straight. When the ball's wide, practice leaving. Get used to not having bat on ball. And that's the other thing, is when you're lacking form and you want to get out there, you're looking for the ball.
Yep.
And we saw that, I think, with Babar Azam and Saud Shakil.
Yeah, you end up searching for runs which are not there. But for young boys and girls who watch this masterclass, try and play as compact as possible, slow and steady, and practice makes perfect.
Yeah, we just saw a bit of a dissection there on how Saud Shakil and Babar Azam have been struggling and the way they've been approaching the faster bowlers. And you wanted to make a point about, especially about Babar Azam, how we saw him side down.
You know, we have discussed this a lot of time. Most of the Pakistani batters, they actually commit themselves on the front foot and they don't move. Have a look. When he was setting up for this delivery, the stride was too long. And when he realized the length is not there to play off the front foot, rather than moving his back leg, he brought his front leg back. And from there, he hung the bat. So that's where the Pakistani batters, they really need to change their thinking. That it's not necessary to play everything off the front foot. If you play off the back foot, you will be better served. Another thing I want to highlight when it comes to Pakistani batters is that, you know, when they set up with their stance, instead of bringing or floating the bat with the bottom hand and then get your head towards the bowler, they actually floor the bat with their front hand, not the trail hand. What happens is your shoulder gets close and your head is not aligned properly, and that's why you struggle to show the awareness of the off stump. That's where Pakistani batters, they need to improve.
Brilliantly put. Time for a break. When we come back, we'll look into Day 5, Bangladesh versus Pakistan. All right, welcome back to the Pitchside Studio. It's Day 5. Let's find out if the pitch has something in store for the bowlers.
Coming to the last day of this test series, and Pakistan require 10 wickets. They need things to happen quickly because they've got 143 runs to play with. Now, who was the bowler that was successful? Which length worked beautifully yesterday? That was Hassan Mahmood. He got the ball to swing, but the interesting part about all this is that he's been able to pitch the ball up, get a little bit of shape, but made sure that the batters, all the batters, played that driving length. Now I talk about Hassan Mahmood because he's similar pace to what the Pakistani pacers have. So the length, you want the batter to drive. So right about here where I'm standing, you want to be pitching here, maybe a little bit of shape. But that is the attacking length. Yeah, yes, you might be driven, but if you want to get wickets and you want to get wickets quickly, that's the risk that you have to take. I don't think that the Pakistani pacers can venture shorter. I don't think that the short ball will have much an effect. It'll have to be pretty full, and that'll have to happen quickly. All in all, you get a couple of wickets up front, and then you're talking. But for that to happen, you have to build pressure by bowling consistently up to the bat.
All right, I'll bring this question to Arthur. If the pitch could speak, the first question would be from the pitch that if one side can do it, why can't the other? We're talking about taking 20 wickets. Naheed and Hassan proved it. There's zip, there's bounce. But Pakistan is unable to replicate that. What do you feel is that one reason the two sides are so different in terms of bowling units?
Well, throughout the series, I mean, we've only had this is the second test match, two-match series. Bangladesh bowlers have been a lot more disciplined. Disciplined in terms of liner lengths, the channel, somewhere around the channel that just outside the off stump. They've been quite persistent and very consistent. Also the fact that they have the ball to move quite a lot. I think they've moved it a little bit more. I'm not talking about swinging in the air. I'm talking about seaming off the surface. So when you have that in your repertoire, being consistent and bowling in the right area, then you're asking questions. You're not only talking about Hassan Mahmood. Look at what Naheed Rana has done. It's a sheer pace. He's actually bowled some thunderbolts. You know, he's got 152 in one of the deliveries that he has bowled. Taskin Ahmad, immense breakthrough that he gave in the very first over. Shariful Islam was magnificent with the ball. So the difference has been better liner lengths and the movement that they've extracted from the surface.
Okay, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll bring in Amir Sohail to find out what can Pakistan bowlers do here on day 5. This is the highest level of cricket, Test cricket. They're professionals. Is there an opportunity or not? Welcome back once again, and have a look at this. Bangladesh is at the cusp of creating history. Now, these are these most successful chases in test matches by Bangladesh, and they've been doing that on several occasions, from 215 to 101, and they've done that. Now, also, this particular win, if it happens today for Bangladesh, will be history, because twice before this, they've won a series. Once against West Indies, was not a full strength side, but you don't take anything away from Bangladesh. And I'm talking about overseas wins, and then Zimbabwe. So if they win this series against Pakistan, this Athar will mean a lot, because it's just the start of the season, and they take that confidence into India.
Yeah, it will mean so much for the Bangladesh fans, and one would also understand the fact that Bangladesh has started to show a little bit more resilience and not depending on one or two players. If you look at in the past, it has been Shakib Al Hasan, Mushfiqur Rahim, Mahmudullah and company, Liton Kumar Das also, but now the youngsters have put their hands up. Look what Shadman Islam did in that first innings, and also the bowlers. You got to take your hats off for the bowlers, because Hassan Mahmood was brilliant. So was Naheed Rana, and Shariful Islam. Taskin has a bit of an experience also. So what it does is the kind of belief that you will have to have in the dressing room, and then when they go back home after a bit of a rest, they'll start remembering these milestones, and will be very crucial, because there's so many cricket to be played in future. We go to India, play 2 test matches, we host South Africa for another 2 test matches at home, and then we're off to West Indies. So this will play a big role, and my word, this has been simply outstanding from each and every one of them.
I want to add one thing. Yeah. You know, it's a process which has just started for Bangladesh. They should not take their hopes very high that they're going to win every series from here on. It's a process.
Quickly, from you, I'm putting you in that Pakistan dressing room. Now, they've never been clean swept ever before this, apart from England 3-0. We'll leave all that aside. You know they have the skills, is the highest level. What will you tell them about the 10 wickets?
You know, yesterday they were attacking the stumps, and that's where they faltered. Allowed Zakir to score too many runs in no time. What they need to do is, if they're bringing the ball back into the stumps, outside the off stump, take the ball away from the left-hander or the right-hander from the off stump. That is the way to go. This will give them opportunities to pick up wickets. If they bowl in desperation, then the batsman will make them suffer.
All right. Don't bowl in desperation. Make the surface do some help for you, like the Bangladesh bowlers extracted some out of that. Day 5, action 143 for Bangladesh, 10 wickets for Pakistan.